This is Mystic Dan in the Kentucky Derby. Our first long shot. Winning it by a nose. Preakness is next. Here comes the Preakness.
Here comes the Preakness.
Sees the gray.
Second leg.
Our second long shot going off at 9-1.
In the slot.
In the slot. Remember, speed or distance. Speed or distance. There you go. Hello, race fans. Trackmaster Rob sitting here. Louis the long shot.
Couldn't wait to do that.
No, I couldn't wait to do that. From RUNFAST, the premier information site for the Triple Crown races, the Breeders' Cup Juvenile, and the Breeders' Cup Classic. We are here today to go over our picks for the Belmont and to recap the Preakness. Take it away, Rob.
Well, the Preakness was ran in the slot. It had some forecast that it was going to be run in the slot, and my handicapping wasn't for the slot. So Lewis did a great job in picking the horse because, like I always say, anytime that the track is off, a lot of mud, a lot of water, a lot of moisture, always go with the speed. Speed always wins in the slot no matter what. And I went against my own principles. But it was a good race. Basically, Sees the Great jumped out in the lead, and he never looked back. And I kind of figured it. I seen the race halfway, and I'm like, oh, it's over. I didn't even have to watch it no more.
But you know, Rob, our question was, in our second episode, we was torn between speed or distance. Speed or distance, because he has never gone a mile and an eighth. And you never know.
You never know.
You never know. So you just have to gamble and, be lucky the horse guides, be with you. Just so happens, he got out there and he did his thing. He was a distance horse with a lot of speed.
Yeah, but I still think he's a speed horse. I think he's best suited for the mile. Because you'll see in this race at 1.25 miles, which it should have been 1.5 miles, but they had to move it to Saratoga. But at 1.25 miles, it will, on a fast track, I don't think he can hold that. I don't think that speed will hold. But on the slop, it will hold, because races ran on the slop, the horses get tired, they get a lot of mud kicked back in their face, and, all you have to do is be in the lead.
Yeah, from my understanding, this is what I heard. I don't know if it's necessarily true, but, horses that, are closers in the mud get something like 10 to 15 pounds of mud kicked on them, and that's a lot of weight.
The horses and the jockeys.
Right, so that's a lot of weight.
They both carry a lot of mud on them.
So that will definitely affect your time.
And, the jockey, he did a great job of knowing what the situation was and then jumping out in front and, never looking back. And, if Mystic Dan didn't catch him, it was over. There was nobody else in that horse field. Basically was nowhere near Sees the Gray.
So before we go any further, let's congratulate Dwayne Lucas. I think he's 88 years old.
I think he's one of the
oldest
trainer
to
ever win the Preakness. So he did a masterful job getting his horse ready. The horse was ready at the go. I thought he was gonna be tired, and I think that's what I talked about last time. I said, oh, he's gonna be tired. He didn't look tired to me.
Yeah, and he did an outstanding job. And the jockey, I don't know if I'm pronouncing his name correctly, Jaime Torres.
Yeah.
I think that was his first.
I think that was his first
Triple Crown race, and he happens to win it.
Yep. So he did a great job of getting him out in front. He read the track well, and that's what you got to do as a jockey. Not only guide the horse or whatever, you got to read the track well. You got to know your competition. You got to know, like, okay, there's no speed. I'm the only speed. I better be out there, And he did what he had to do, and it was an easy win. And you again hit a nice long shot, So what can I say? I'm very humbled. Like I can't believe it, but I'm humbled.
Well, it was a joint effort, Rob.
Yeah, I got the fourth place finish. So you got the top 3, and I got the fourth place. We had the superfecta together. Yeah.
So let me tell you how dreams come true. I heard that this individual 5 years ago that he looked at a horse race and he was like, this is what I want to do. And then he went to jockey school and just in 2022, and all of a sudden, 2024, he wins the Preakness. So if you got dreams do come true.
Yeah,
that was phenomenal.
And see, he's right on the horse. And see, Dwayne is an old school trainer, so he don't care if a horse race every 2 weeks, every week. You know, that's what they did back in the old school.
Yeah.
You know, so he don't care, and you know, he had him ready for it. So,
all right, so let's show the Preakness. Let's break down the Preakness, and we're gonna take it from there.
all right.
Now, I did have Mystic Dan as one of my first horses because he was a heck of a mutter, but he did come in second, so he did complete my trifecta. And I called Rob at the last minute. I was like, "Look, man, I'm gambling, man. I'm going with Seize the Gray too. I'm gonna put some money on Seize the Gray." So I did a $3 exacta 6 all on Seize the Gray. So I put like 100 in the race and got back 370. So that was a $270 profit. So I'm pretty happy with that.
Yeah, you did a great job. I'm surprised you didn't win more, because I would have won him too, because he was 9-1. You did a great job. You had that, but just getting the exacta, that was good.
You know, as you can see, he's out in front.
He's out in front.
Well,
no pressure. And then Imagination, who I did.
Man, I told you that horse is gonna fade, man.
But what it was, he raced wide the whole way, and you know, in California, they're not used to running on mud. Period. So that basically
it never rains in Southern California.
That tired him because halfway through the race, he was done. And then once I seen this is when I didn't even have to look at it no more, because it's over. The race is over already. Nobody's going to catch him. Mystic Dan, you know, he ran a great race, but he was never going to catch him. And who I had, Tuscan Gold, he basically was never in the race. He did come to finish fourth, but you get no money for fourth.
Now, our motto at RunFast is to maximize your earnings and minimize your losses. Now, this may sound crazy. Even though I picked Mystic Dan, I did not want him to win. I wanted him to stay second. Reason why? I make more money. I'm not concerned about the winning horse. All I want to do is make more money that I put into the race. So with Mystic Dan coming second, I definitely made more money. In the long shot on top, I definitely made more money. So that's what we're more concerned about. I could care less about picking a winning horse, long as I make more money than I spent in this race, and we definitely did. All right, let's get to the Belmont. Our first 2 episodes, we always start off with the weather forecast. Rob, do you know what the weather forecast is?
So the weather forecast looks like it's going to be perfect weather. So that may change, but you know, for now, it looks like every day leading up to it and after it is going to be perfect in the 70s, no rain. So we may not get rain this time. So
we're talking about a fast track.
We're talking about a fast track. So this would be a fair race. You know, no mud, no anything. It's just whoever the best horse is going to win this race.
And the race is in Saratoga, New York?
The race is in Saratoga. It would be in Belmont, New York, in the Belmont Park, but Belmont Park is being renovated, so they had to run it somewhere. So it's going to be in Saratoga, which is probably their most famous track in New York, and it's going to be ran at a different distance. So it's going to be ran at 1.25 miles. It usually run at 1.5 miles,
right? And
then we will probably have half this field because a lot of these horses wouldn't even join. But it's going to be ran at 1.5 miles, so we have a full field, and you know, even though I don't think it's going to be a long shot this time, but hey, whatever Lewis say is right.
You know what? since Frank is not with us, I always did want to do this. I'm spreading the news. I want to be a part of it. Belmont, we will win the Belmont. Belmont. I always wanted to do that. Anyway, let's get back to the point at hand.
Yeah, please.
Okay. Well, y'all know I sounded like Frank. Anyway, go ahead.
So
you want to start off? You want me to start off?
You can go ahead with your pick since you won. You know, gotta let the winners go first. So go ahead.
I'm definitely gonna start off with Seize the Gray. As you saw in the Preakness, you know, speed horse. I think, you know, with the track being dry, and you know, he definitely sets the pace. He's gonna get out there. Speed. He's gonna be tough to beat. Mr. Torres, you know, he got a taste of the winner's circle. I think Seize the Gray is going to be my first choice.
So that's your choice to win?
That's my choice to win.
Okay.
Seize the Gray. And, you know, I'm an analytics person, so I'm going to break down his average pace. His average pace at 1.25 miles is 55. From 6 furlongs to 1 mile, he drops down to 52. which is a little concerning, but I still think he'll be able to hold off Sierra Leone. I meant to start off with Sierra Leone. This is his race to lose. I'm gonna try my best to beat him, but I think Sierra Leone with Flavor and Pratt on him, the number 2 jockey, is gonna be really tough to beat. So I'm gonna try to beat him. So I'm gonna start off, like I said, with Seize the Gray. And from a mile to a mile and the eighth, he drops down to 50 paces. So I'm a little worried about that, but not too much because, like I said, once he gets out in front, you're going to have to catch him. My second choice with my guy Irod Ortiz on him is Mind Frame. Now, Mind Frame he's very lightly raced, so he's a little inexperienced. The trainer's Todd Pletcher, who's the number 6 best trainer in the land, with my boy Irod Ortiz, the rock star, the best jockey in the land. So it's going to be Irod and Pratt going at it. So his average pace is 54, which I like. From 6 furlongs to 1 mile, he increases to 55, which is good. And then he drops down from a mile to a mile and an eighth, just a little bit to 54. So that means he's very consistent. So I think Mind Frame is going to be there. So my only concern is his inexperience, and he's lightly raced. My third horse is Wine Stewart. He is trained by Michael Maker, who's number 7 trainer in the land, and Jockey Franco, who's number 10. So he ran 3rd in a Peter Pan to Antiquarian.
Yeah.
And normally, you would pick.
He ran 2nd, didn't he?
Yeah, I think he ran 2nd.
He ran 2nd.
Excuse me, he ran 2nd to Antiquarian. So normally you would pick the winning horse who beat him, but it's something about this horse that I think that he can overcome, and just have a better race. His average pace is 54.6, which is very good. At 6 furlongs to a mile, he increases 54.8. From a mile to a mile and the eighth, he drops down to 53.7. Now, it's something that I invented called lag time. I can't really tell you what it is, but from 0 to -1 is a very good lag time. If you are in the plus, it's outstanding. I'll give you a classic example. I had Flightline, and I know y'all remember Flightline. Flightline had a +2 lag time, and he just decimated the field. He beat Life is Good.
Yeah.
And everybody was hollering, "Oh, Life is Good." I'm like, he's gonna destroy. I'm like, Life is Good is gonna fade, and which he did. I'm like, and he's gonna destroy the field, and which he did. And he had a positive lag time of 2+. So with that being said, that the Wine Stewart, he has a negative lag time of 0.2, which is really good. And I think he will definitely be there. And he is also a class horse, meaning that in Vegas, there was like a top 100 horses, and he was number 4. He hasn't shown it yet, but I think he will. Seize the Gray is number 16, and Door Knock, who I'm going to talk about later, is number 4. So those are my picks, but I still think it's Sierra Leone's race to win. But we're gonna beat him. I'm gonna beat him. I'm gonna beat Pratt. I'm gonna beat Sierra Leone because I'm the man. I'm gonna beat him.
One thing I just didn't understand was you named all these horses.
Here you go.
No, I gotta mention this. You named all these horses. Then you said this is Sierra Leone's race to win.
He's going on for 9-5.
I understand, but you don't even have him in your top 3, and that's why I'm confused. Because if I thought a horse was gonna win, ain't no way I would not have him in my top 3.
I'm gonna put him underneath. But I'm gonna try to beat him.
That's 4th though. You gonna put him underneath everybody?
Nah, I'll put him like in second or something like that.
I'm just making sure. I don't want you to,
trifecta.
lead nobody straight now.
I don't want him
because
to win.
we know he's the best horse in this race. We know that. But so all right. So with my choices, I got to set the race up. So when I looked at this race, it is really not much speed in this race. So Seize the Gray, who's on the rail, it's going to have he's got to jump out there because he's on the rail. When you're on the rail, you got that one shot to get out there. If not, you're going to be basically trampled on by everybody, all the horses, and then you're going to have a rough time getting out of that. So he's probably going to jump to the lead, and Door Knock, he's going to jump to the lead too. Now, Seize the Gray is much faster, so he will be probably ahead of door knock, but not by much, probably about a half a length. So that's the first quarter mile. And then when you're running at Saratoga, the first quarter mile is basically stretch. So you're basically going down the stretch all the way into the turn. So you have a long stretch before you get to that first turn. So you're going to have door knock, seize the grade, 1 and 2 going into that first turn. And then you're going to have basically a whole clump of horses, about 5 or 6 horses who are going to run behind that. And then you're going to have Sierra Leone, who's going to be last, like normal. So that big clump of horses are going to be the Peter Pan horses, Antiquarian, Wine Stewart, Resilience,
right.
And maybe Mystic Dan a little bit behind them. But Mystic Dan is going to straddle that rail. So wherever he's at, he's going to be on the rail. And then you're going to have Anna Marie, who's going to be in the back with Sierra Leone, which will be last. And then the one horse I ain't talking about, Mind Frame is in a great spot because he gets to choose where he's going to be. He has speed to get out in front, but then he has speed to get right behind those. So he's going to be in a perfect spot. And it depends on where IRAD puts him at in that first quarter. That's going to be the race. So what I came up with is my third place finisher will be Mystic Dan. Mystic Dan, he's going to run behind that speed, and he's going to probably be on the rail. And if that rail opens up, he's going to, creep down the rail, and then he's going to come. And basically, to me, he's going to get third place. My second place winner will be Sierra Leone. He's going to come, but I know he's going to.
Excuse me?
He's going to come, but I know he's going to.
Did you say second?
Yes, he's going to be second because
Lord have mercy.
With the type of fractions they're going to put up, he don't run close enough. And if it was 1.5 miles, it'd be no doubt Sierra Leone.
Okay.
But it's 1.25 miles, and he doesn't run close enough to the pack to me, basically win. So my second choice will be Sierra Leone because he's going to run his usual race and he's going to come late. And Flavian Pratt will have him, he will keep him straight down the stretch. That's one thing I do know with the change of jockey. So that was probably a good for him. Now, my first place winner, I know everybody drumming on boo. Everybody.
I can't wait to hear this.
It's going to be Mind Frame because Mind Frame, to me, is a superstar horse. Mind Frame, I watched it. He's only raced twice, and with those 2 races, I've seen first one was going 7 furlongs, and he blew away the competition. It wasn't even in competition. It was fast fractions. He held forth. This was at Gulfstream. He held forth, and then when he got to the stretch, he just blew, and I think he won about maybe 10 lengths. And then his second race, he raced on Kentucky Derby Day. He raced in an allowance race, and I think it was a little muddy too. And he was on the outside too. He was 11 horse field, but I think maybe 2 or 3 scratched out. So he was on the outside, and he knew what he had to do. He ran to the front, he got the lead, and he never looked back. And even during the race, he did let him get, let somebody get on side of him. But as soon as he turned for the stretch, he won by 7-8 lengths. So to me, he's a superstar horse, and he is his bloodlines. He is related to. Funny he mentioned Flightline. He is related to, I don't know how, but he's related to Flightline. So, and that's who he reminds me of. A late bloomer, comes on late, and then just starts to blow everybody away.
Now, just to add to a little bit of what you were saying about Mind Frame, because I noticed during the race, the first quarter and a half was it was really pedestrian.
Yeah, it was slow.
It was slow, but when he got to 6 furlongs, all of a sudden he
sped up.
He turned it on. I'm like, oh my goodness, and then ran a 136 mile.
Yeah. So
after running the 49 quarter,
he got faster as he went.
49 half, and I was like, okay, this horse,
he got faster, and you could tell he wants more distance. To me, he's a superstar of this crop. Because I really didn't see a clear-cut superstar of the 3-year-old crop. He's the one. And another reason I know this, he's owned by Mike Rapoli, who owns Fierceness.
Okay.
And he's a billionaire owner. He owns a lot of horses. But he had taking Fierceness out of this race. I'm like, why would he do that? Like, you know, Fierceness is supposed to be his best horse, you know.
Yeah.
I don't think he is.
I thought
but,
so.
You know, he took Fierceness out of his race, and you know, he's in New York, you know, he's based in New York. So I'm like, you would think he would run all of his horses in this race.
Right.
No,
In his own backyard.
He knows what he's got in mind frame. And he didn't want Fierceness to lose again. So he's like, you know what, I'm gonna let Mind Frame just go ahead and win this, and then Fierceness go somewhere else and run. So that really shocked me when he pulled Fierceness out. So, and then when I seen what he had, you know, and Pletcher must like him too. So, you know, I'm gonna go with Mind Frame. Because I think he's a superstar, and I think he's gonna be a Breeders' Cup. You know, he's gonna win the Breeders' Cup.
And Pletcher got what, 3 horses in this race?
He does have 3 horses. Protective, who came out of the Peter Pan,
right? And
he has one more that came out of the Peter Pan too.
An Aquarium.
So and Mind Frame is the horse to beat. He's the only superstar horse I've seen this year. He's the only horse that I think that can go on, you know, win Breeders' Cup, win the Pegasus at Gulfstream, win all the big races. He can go overseas. Mind Frame is like, you know, he's the real deal.
So you think this horse is that good, huh?
I think so. I haven't seen any horse like him. None this year. None. I looked at all of them. I'm like,
Muth, Mesos?
No.
Come on, man.
No, they can't touch him.
Muth is a killer.
Mind Frame will. I'm telling you, you'll see. Come Belmont Day, Pletcher wouldn't have taken Fierceness out if he didn't know what he had in Mind Frame. Mm-hmm. Mind Frame is a superstar horse, and you'll see. There's a lot. It's horses like Seize the Gray. He's the son of Arrogate. Arrogate was the same. He came.
Was a heck of a horse.
I think he came
beaten by Gunrunner.
He came and he won. He won his maiden, and then he won an allowance, and then it was a summertime, and it was like Saratoga. He won the Travers easy, and then he went on to win the Breeders' Cup. Like this is that type of horse. He's a superstar horse, and you know, I wish he could have started earlier, but some of them bloom late. You know, he's a late bloomer, and he's a big horse. He's fast. He could do it. He could close. He could be in the middle.
I wonder how many hands is that horse? You got 16, 17?
But he's big. He's huge. So, that's my pick. Even though he's not going to be at a long price, and if it comes my way,
I think you're going off at 7-2.
7-2.
I'll take that $9 horse. I'll take that
7-2 over Sierra Leone, because Sierra Leone is going to run. I know you.
He's going. Sierra Leone's going to
did your analytic thing, and it has worked. But Sierra Leone is going to hit the board. He's going to hit the board because that's what he do. He come running late. And he may even win. So, my thing is I probably will, box him. I'm going to box him. I know that for a fact. And if I pick a long shot, it's going to be Wine, Stewart, or Protective. If I pick a long shot, I may not pick a long shot, but if I do bet a long shot, it's going to be Wine, Stewart, or Protective. Because them are the horses that don't make sense, and they probably go off at a long odds. And if anything happens that's crazy in the race, and it breaks down, one of them may happen to win. So,
speaking of not making sense, let's get to this horse, Door Knock. Now, I was high on Door Knock at the beginning of the year. Now, when I handicap, the first thing I always ask myself, and I hope Vegas is not listening, is how is Vegas going to cheat? Door Knock is the worst looking horse in this race, but he's rated in the top 10 2 to 3 year olds for a reason. So before Door Knock ran at like 10th in the Kentucky Derby, and I think in the Arkansas he took 4th. But before those 2 races, he had 3 wins and 2 seconds. So he definitely has the potential. So the horse that has the potential but look the worst in this race is Door Knock. So sometimes you just can't go on analytics, what you see. Sometimes you'll get that gut feeling like, okay, this horse is going to show his potential sooner or later. And I think he might show it in this race. He's not going to win it, but I will put him underneath for second and third. I'm going to put, just for for giggles. I'm gonna put like 5 across on him, just in case. But I do think he'll hit the board 3rd or 4th, and that will complete your trifecta or your superfecta, because he's gonna go off long, and he is the worst looking horse in this race. But long shot Louis, I'm going with Door Knock. You heard it from me first. He will hit the board at 3rd, maybe even 4th, to complete your trifecta or your superfecta.
No, I will say.
Don't you shoot down
No,
Door Knock.
I will say.
Don't you shoot down my
Door Knock
horse.
doesn't have a chance.
Oh,
I will
go.
say that Door Knock peaked early, so that's basically why he's rated high. He peaked early. He peaked at his two-year-old, year. He peaked early. He ran a good race. I can't even remember the last good race. He hasn't run a good race
In a while.
three or 4.
He's overdue.
So,
He's due.
Yeah, no, I don't think you do. I don't think he's that good, and I'm shocked that he injured. He wasn't one of the horses that I thought that would come back would be him. I didn't think so. Yeah, I don't know about Door Knock, but I did give love to you, Wine Stewart. Don't waste money on Door Knock. Now, I've been wrong, and he see, this one thing that frustrates me about him. He'll come to me, at my job, I'm working, and be like an hour before the race, and be like, oh, I'm betting this. And I'm like, man, I'm at work. I can't go do it, and then he'll win. So, if you want to know who's going to win, just call him an hour before the race, and trust me, he'll have the horse.
As I can recall, we had a little small wager, and he said he was going to put this down.
Hey, he won it back.
Thank you, Rob.
But
thank you very much.
He's not going to win this time. So I got to win 1 out of the 3. So, yeah, I'm going with Mind Frame. And I don't know. Who was your top horse?
I went back with Seize the Gray.
It's Caesar Gray. So, yeah, I don't think Caesar Gray is going to hit the board this time. It's going to be a fair, fast track. And, Door Knock is going to be the reason why he won't hit the board. Door Knock is going to challenge him for the first 2 quarters. He's going to have to run at least a 46 half. And that's going to be pretty fast for 3-year-olds, and running a mile and a fourth. A 46 half is pretty fast.
Yeah, that's nice.
So he's going to have to run a 46.
So this is Rob is good at.
He's not going to get away with that.
Rob is good at breaking down the races. This is what he do.
He got away with that, and Laurel, but he's going to have to run a 46. Trust me. You'll see half 46. Trust me on that. And that's setting it up for us early on.
And there's our picks for the Belmont. Here's our educational part of RunFast. I think our last episode we talked about betting. We went over win, place, and show. This segment we'll talk about what handicapping is, and we'll go over what the exact is. I've spoken to a lot of individuals who gamble, and they said that they don't mess around with horse racing because they don't know how. They don't know how to bet, and it's very difficult. So most people up at the racetrack, you'll hear the term handicappers or handicapping. Handicapping is just a collection of data, a collection of information, and you gather your information, and from that information you try to pick the winning horse. And information can come from anywhere. There can be information in the tote board. Is a horse going up in his eyes, or is he going down? Information can come from the track. What is the track conditions? Is the track fast? Is the track muddy? What is the track bias? The information can come from a little old man who I just say who you like, and something that I may not see. He be like, I like this person, and I go back over it. So handicapping is basically gathering information, and from that information you try to pick the winning horse. Rob, you have anything to add to that?
Yeah. So, I mean, like he says, it's basically just gathering information. You can watch videos, of old races, but me, I like past performances, which is basically a book full of the horses that race past performances. So you'll see like maybe the last 4 or 5 races that they've raced, and it'll show you, how they ran, did they, the times they ran, and you compare it to the other horses of that, in that same race. So to me, that's how I do it. And then I also use video. But sometimes when you do use video and you're watching it, you come right back to that paper, and then you look, and then you like, I don't know, this one looks better. So you try to use everything you can at your disposal, but I like, I put more weight into past performances, because usually a horse do run most of the time to his past performance. They run the same. Most horses run the same race most of the time, unless something happens during the race. So
and just to add to that, horse racing is all about experience. So the reason why I go a lot on class is a couple years ago, I would have had the pick 5, but it was this one horse. I can't remember the name of the horse, but he was definitely a class horse. And he came 5th, but all his races was horrible. And a couple of horses that he beat were pretty good horses, but he was the class of that field, and he came in 5th. So now I go on class. Like in the Preakness, the class of the race was Seize the Gray, and who came in 3rd? Catching Freedom. Seize the Gray and Catching Freedom. Both of those horses was ranked. And of course, Mystic Dan, who was the Kentucky Derby winner. So I put class in there, and I was just gathering information. I'm like, okay, Seize the Gray is rated, Catching Freedom is rated. Of course, you got to put the winner in there, because he won a Kentucky Derby and he still has some gas left in his tank. And so that's how I came up with my 3. And of course, my 3 came in. And it's just gathering information from any and everywhere, a likely source, an unlikely source. You put it all together and you come up with your horses.
Yeah, and that's basically it. So we're going to talk about a specific bet. I know we talked about win, place, and show last time. So we're going to talk about the exacta today. The exacta is basically you're betting the first and the second horse in order. So you can either bet, let's say, 5-2, and if it comes 5-2, you win. You can box it, which means if it comes 5-2, 2-5, you win. And usually when you bet the exacta, the money is a little bit more than you would if you bet win, place, or show, because it's basically the odds of both, added together, of both of them coming first and second. And so your odds are greater. And that's a bet that I prefer, I choose, because it's, I'm not gonna say it's easy, but it's easier to pick the first and second instead of pick first, second, third, fourth, or any other bet besides the win, place, and show. So yeah, that's one of the bets that I like.
And we know all of you out there play the lottery. It's not that difficult. You just box the horse, or you can go $1 exacta, 6 over a number of horses, like 6 over 4, 5, 6, 7, and always what I like to do is have the horse come second, 4, 5, 6, 7 over the 6. So that way you'll cover your behind, like I did in the Preakness with the trifecta. Mystic Dan came second. I usually have the horse that beat him and all the horses that came 3rd, and he came second. But I had him first also, but I was covering, my bet with putting him second.
And usually in a race like this, like we're talking about the Belmont, which is, to me, is going to be pretty chalky, which means the lower odds horses are going to come through. I put a lot of money on the exacta, because let's say if it is Mind Frame and Sierra Leone, that's probably not going to be the best exacta. But if that's what it's going to be, then you put more money on that bet.
Okay, I always like to tell stories about the big one that got away. A couple years ago, it was Rich Strike.
Yeah.
Who won the Derby. He was going off real long.
Yeah, it could have been like 20 to 1 or something like that.
So I'm with my niece, and I usually I had the second place horse. I usually do a $20 exacta with a number of horses. And my niece is looking at me like, are you going to do this horse? I'm like, nah, he's not going to hit the board. He just came into the race yesterday, blah, 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 blah. So Rich Strike wins the race. My horse comes second. And if I would have had a $20 exacta, the exacta paid $4,000 for $2. If I'd have had it for $20, I'd have had a $40,000 payday. I'm looking at my niece and she was like, I'm like, why didn't you say something? She was like, I didn't know. And I got a million stories of the big one that got away. So that's one of the ones, and $40,000 off an exacta. I was sick to death.
Yeah, we all had those stories, but That's why you always go with your hunches.
Mm-hmm.
You know. So if you come running to me this weekend and change your mind and say I'm gonna go ahead and go with that hunch,
In which I am, you know I am.
because
And you know who's gonna be door
do it
knock.
all the time.
It's gonna be door knock. You know it's gonna be door knock. You know. So
Yeah, so
that's
as
it.
you can see, we have the the RunFast t-shirts, with the horse name. So yeah, if you wanted anyone, just DM or hit me in the inbox, and then I can get you a shirt with your name, Specialized RunFast, whatever. So we had those, and my handle will be below me on the screen.
Now, before we go, I'd just like to give a shout out to Drake and Mayweather. We may clown around, on the set a lot and joke around, but we are very good at what we do. Drake, I left word to your people. Drake, if you would have got with me, probably would be up around about 10, 15 million right now. I'm just putting that out there. So
He's picking the winners.
I'm on a roll.
Long shot winners too.
I am on a roll.
Not the chalk winners, the long shot winners.
So with that being said, that's our conclusion. Money won. Here's my saying. Money won is a lot sweeter than money earned. See you in the winner's circle.
Peace.